If you've used Confluence, you've bumped into page restrictions. You might have been frustrated you can't see a page you know exists. You might have tried to restrict a page and couldn't. So let's dig into what page restrictions are, how you can use them, and some common gotchas you really need to look out for. So first, if you don't have access to the space a page is in, page restrictions kind of won't matter. If I can't view this particular space, I can't see the pages to edit them. So the first step in restrictions is making sure someone can view the space itself. In many cases, the space will be available to everyone. Confluence is supposed to be permissive so folks can see stuff. But if they can't see the space, it doesn't matter if they have permissions to the page, it'll be invisible. Now, in order to modify page restrictions, you need a special permission. I'm going to go over here to my space settings, and this is something that only a space admin can do. In the space settings menu, I'm going to go to my jump to settings and look for permissions. And just open up general. This page details the permissions of this space. Again, each space can have a different set of permissions to allow individuals to do things like add a page, they could archive or delete them, add blogs, comments, and more. The permission we're looking at for this example, however, is called restrictions. I'll click on this little question mark, and this will give us a little bit more information about it. Specifically, this permission lets individuals add restrictions to content. So for individuals or groups that don't have this, they won't be able to lock a page. They simply won't have the ability. So there may be some use cases where you don't want specific groups of users to have the ability to restrict a page. In most cases, I found that it should be open and individuals should be able to restrict or not. But if you have particularly sensitive spaces where you don't want just anyone going in and locking pages, you may want to restrict this to a particular group. In order to change this permission, all I'm going to do is click Edit Permissions, go over to the Restrictions column, and check or uncheck the individuals who should have the ability to restrict a space. As a space admin, you can come in here at any time and change these permissions. So if you've made a mistake or if you need to add or remove someone, it's pretty quick to come in here and add or remove the individual. All right, let's look at the three kinds of page restrictions we have. Page restrictions appear up at the top with this lock icon. And when I click on it, I'll see any existing restrictions on this page. This particular example is the most restricted. Only specific people can view or edit the page. In this case, I'm the only one who can really see it. Confluence is explicitly denying access to anyone who isn't me. This can be a good setting if you have a draft or some sensitive document you aren't quite ready to share with more folks. But keep in mind, this will be effectively invisible to everyone else in this space. So if you give them the link, they'll just get a message saying either the page doesn't exist or you don't have access to it. As a new hire, this is incredibly frustrating because you know it's there, but you just can't see it. Now, there is a common challenge with this most restrictive access, and that would be if the person who set the access and owns the page leaves the company. In this case, you might have to talk to an Atlassian admin or if there's someone else on this access list to help you unlock it. The next level of access we can restrict is the ability to view it, but not edit it. This is a common setting for things like policies or for pages that only a small group of people should be able to change, but everyone should access. Imagine some sensitive policy document or project update that you only want a few people to be able to modify, but everyone should be able to look it up and read it. The default permission is anyone can view and edit. This means that anyone can see this page or come in and change it. This is the default because Confluence is intended to be an open space where information is easily shared and searchable and editable. So in most cases, this setting is perfect. Other folks can come in and update the page if they need to, and you don't have to worry about accidentally locking them out. So let's dig into the concept of inheritance, or how permissions will ladder down to child pages. Here I have a very, very simple page tree. I have a parent, Confluence Basics, and then a child, high-level outline. I'm going to place a restriction on Confluence Basics. And I'm going to use the most restrictive option. Only some people can view and edit, and just leave it to myself. I'll click Apply, and it's going to warn me that public links won't be restricted. So if the child page has any links out in the wild that are publicly available, they might still be accessible. I don't have any, so I'll click OK. And the lock icon is changed to red, meaning the most restrictive level applies. Next, I'm going to go down to this high-level outline. And this is a child page, so I didn't directly edit it. So I have a slightly different icon. Here, it looks like a lock that is open. This tells me that permissions have been inherited from a parent. So I'll click on this, and I'll see restricted to specific people by this parent. So I can click on the link to go to the parent page, which will let me examine the permissions on it. If I go back to that child and go to the same permission level, only specific people can view or edit, I should see the same individual on it. I'll click Apply. And now if I go up to the top, I can see this is an explicit permission. It's no longer inherited because I explicitly told this page Robert Heen can see it. Now permissions will inherit down, meaning this page cannot be opened up to everyone unless the parent is. If I go to edit these permissions, I'll see a note saying restricted to specific people. And if I try to change the option to anyone, it no longer says anyone can view. Anyone on the parent can view or edit. This allows me to have a parent with several people editing or viewing, but then further restrict the children, so only a subset of that group can see child pages. This gives you a little bit more flexibility with your permissioning, as you can have a higher level page, for example, all of your HR policies, locked down to a group of people, but the individual children, specific teams or groups, might have further restrictions. I do also have some granularity with that most restrictive level. If I go back to this parent and say only specific people can view or edit, I might only give an individual access to view the page. So in addition to hiding it to everyone, only this person can see it, but they wouldn't be able to change the contents. This can be another powerful way to control your access because it lets only a subgroup view it, for example, a special project team or some senior executive who maybe shouldn't be editing the policy directly, while allowing other people to edit it if they need to. Now, if a page becomes archived, we can view it in the archive, and we'll see that it does have restrictions on it. For example, anyone in the space can view, but only some can edit. If I go to restore this page, it will put it back into the tree where I would like it to go, in this case, back to the same parent. And if there are additional permissions, they'll inherit down. In this case, we can see that red lock icon again, indicating that there are editing and viewing permissions inherited from the parent. If the page becomes deleted, the page will appear under space settings and can be restored. It will put it back into Confluence. However, it won't put it back on the parent page. As we can see here, Confluence Basics was the parent. So if I open high-level outline, I won't get the same inherited permissions that I got before. If I click on the page, I now see that it's anyone in the space can view, but only some can edit. Archiving returns the page back to its parent, which can result in inherited permissions, but deleting it drops it back into your space without attaching it to the parent again. This can result in unexpected challenges with your permissions, so it's something you'll want to be careful of with any page you delete. So that's the high level on Confluence restrictions. They're a way to control access to a particular page or blog, which can be very useful in some cases where you don't want folks to see or manipulate your information. There's a few gotchas though. For example, if you can't see the space, you can't see the page. And also if the page is archived or deleted, there might be some unexpected behavior, so be careful for those. If you have any questions or comments, drop them down below in the comments. I'll be happy to respond to them. And if you've got a minute, please like and subscribe. It really helps me out. Thanks for taking time to learn about Confluence permissions, and looking forward to seeing you in one of these again soon.